Hey everyone, this is Zachary Hilton. I'm with Thrive Tactics Sales Consulting. What I do and how I founded this company is to pretty much help CEOs and owners of brands and sales representatives, business development, director level, VP level, all of those types of salespeople in an organization and the owners really kind of break down and simplify the sales process. I think a lot of brands misinterpret the current sales process in today's sales journey. They also forget about small steps and very basic steps in the sales journey. A lot of the times, if you're down in your market, is why are we not making money? Instead, the question should be, why are we not asking the questions we should be, and why are we not training our people how they should be taught and represent our brand and our original message on why you founded the company or why you started a sales department and all of that good stuff. Basically, how I'll attack this first video in chapter 1 of understanding customer needs and qualifying leads and overcoming objections is in a series of, is your company a smaller brand and just a startup, or are you a larger brand and you've been in the industry, or you're a vet in the industry or manufacturer? So it really helps you understand what a smaller brand is doing to poach your larger customers and how you as a larger brand can better adapt to handling small accounts and bringing those on and basically treating them as a farm site and growing them into a profitable amount of land where you can regenerate those resources that you spent optimizing your team for those smaller accounts and help training them and making sure they understand how to adapt in their respective fields and spaces in the industry. So basically, I have understanding the customer's needs as the first portion of this discussion. So mostly you have about 4 questions that you'll be facing in the sales journey and your P's and Q's. So number 1 being, what challenges or problems are you currently facing, which is typically lead time, pricing increases, physical quality of products, manufacturer issues, etc. Number 2 being, what goals are you trying to achieve? Better relationships, transparency, more industry knowledge, marketing. Third would be, what criteria do you use to make purchasing decisions when asking the customer? So their response would be, I trust my sales rep, I listen to my customers, my wife does the purchasing and runs the company. 4 would be, how have you tried to address this problem in the past? Be a yes or no. Yes, we've tried to reach out to other manufacturers or businesses or sales teams, or no, we haven't. We've not really discussed that idea. We've been too busy. I'm not really in the mood. I'm not really looking to switch partners, all of that. What does success look like for you would be number 5. So their retaliation or their answer could be more sales, more money, more employees. I want to have a product that I can grow my business with. So the overview of that is basically looking at a customer or a prospect and potential customer, I should say, and reaching out to them. And those are pretty much going to be the 5 paths that you're going to go down or be hit with first on the phone. And relatively, it could be easier to face these on the phone. It could be harder to face them on the phone. You may have employees in your network that are going to say, I prefer to call these customers and ask them directly. Or you may have those guys who are email warriors and spend all day on the email as opposed to taking calls or wanting to be on the phone. Now, all of those are fine. You could really answer all of those individually. Some brands are, not going to want to talk to your salespeople. That can be addressed in another video. But, their modern day market has really transitioned to people either accepting cold calls or denying cold calls and hanging up. But from my experience, I've seen a lot more utilization in cold calls and people being more comfortable with cold calls. But there's also brands who do not want to pick up a phone. You'll go to their address on their website. It won't have a phone number. It'll just have a email address, but you have to dig for that email address. So before reaching out to these brands, it would be a good idea to check out their website, if you're prospecting and trying to dig in detail and see what these brands are doing and really seeing, how much information do they have on the website, because that's going to tell you from day one, how they want to address conversations, whether it's going to be an email or phone. I'll tell you right now, a lot of brands have transitioned to not even putting a phone number on there. You Google their address, they'll maybe have a website. You go to their website, they'll have an about us, contact, but it's a contact form. There's no phone number. So a lot of the brands who want to talk and start a conversation, they'll have a phone number. If they don't have that, your best choice is, and pretty much your only choice, is to email them and get that conversation started, and then directly chasing after that phone number. So let's dig in a little to understanding the customer's needs. So back to number one is, what challenges or problems are you currently facing? So attacking it from a smaller brand. This is for all you smaller brands, your startups, all of you guys out there and gals who are just doing a startup. So lead time, pricing increases, physical quality of products, manufacturing issues. This is where you're the small guy. So when you're chasing these prospects, both small and large, this is where you can really milk it and, come at the angle of, we care. We are, a small group. Our lead times, effectively you could have a very minimum lead time. It's probably going to be a very good lead time compared to your competitors, because you're smaller and you don't have a lot of business. So you're turning stuff and you're itching, and you're at the leverage of, we need to make money now, or things are going to go south in the next month, year, 2 years. So your lead time is probably going to be more optimal. So that's probably how I would start the conversation with these prospects and kind of dig into it, along with pricing. So you probably can't afford to have the best pricing on the market, because you're not, getting resources or a lot of direct market impact right now. You're basically fighting to survive or fighting to make a breakout. So this is really good in the sense of, hey, this is our pricing. If you can't work with us, move on. Like, your pricing is probably going to be one of the things that you can't pitch directly, whereas your competitors could. But you probably don't have wiggle room to lead into this right now. So physical quality of the products, if you are a smaller brand and you're either one purchasing from a larger manufacturer, maybe you're a competitor right now, your physical quality has to be good. This and your lead time are probably going to make or break your business in the next 1 to 2 years. And if customers start getting bad quality, anything else is outside the line. It doesn't matter if your lead time is a day and you're sending shit product. That's basically, the end of things. It doesn't matter if I get your product in a day. It doesn't matter if I get it in a month. If it's shit and it's poor quality and it's not going to sell on my shelves, you basically lost, the battle from the get-go. Manufacturer issues, so is the next topic. So if you, again, this ties into physical quality of the product and manufacturer issues. If you are making your products, or if you're reselling it for the time being until you can make it, or that's not even your wheelhouse and you just want to keep reselling it, you really need to focus down on the quality of it. And if your people that you're purchasing from, or you're getting even the raw ingredients from, you have to break down on them, because that is where your investments, your time, your efforts into your company are coming from. And if they're giving you shit product, you have to say something, or you have to start purchasing from somewhere else to get in front of those customers. So from a small angle, when you're talking about what challenges or problems are you currently facing when you're asking your potential prospects this, you really have to focus in lead time and the quality of your products. So when you're on the phone with that customer, really dive into lead time, make sure it's emphasized, make sure, you could send them a sample to show them the quality of that product. That's what you really need to do to get in front of that prospect for the first time. One, to show them, hey, our shit is phenomenal. Here's a sample. What's your address? Where can I send it to? And then, kind of piggybacking on that lead time, if you get that opportunity with that client, you want to say, hey, where can I send the sample to, and show them that lead time. As soon as you say, let me send you a sample, prove it. Get down to your shipping department, or get into your shipping terminal and ship that out. Try to get it out the same day. If they email you at 4 and everybody leaves at 5, get it done. Send it out. Make sure it goes out, because what that tells that customer is, we just spoke. I literally got off the phone, went and shipped your stuff, and I just sent you the tracking number at 5 or later. And that's showing them, oh, wow, like, they care about me. They're serious about their brand. But you better make sure that product you just sent is top quality shit. Because, again, here we go back into it. It doesn't matter how quickly you got it out. It doesn't matter if you next day hear that package. If they get it and it's a terrible product, you're just wasting money, and you're basically drowning, and no one's throwing you a life vest. Going back into the second is, what goals are you trying to achieve when you're on with the customer? So when you're talking to that customer or that prospect, they're going to bring up a few points. So they may want a better relationship. They may want better transparency. They may want more industry knowledge. They may want more marketing help. So let's say you're in tech and, you're pitching to a large corporate brand and you're trying to get in the door with them. Let's say their salespeople, they give them a call once a year. They pitch them the new tech that's out, and they're basically saying, hey, here's this. Send us a check if you want it, and we'll send you the services. We'll send you the data. We'll send you the marketing research. Whatever they're buying, they're going to send it if they communicate with them, right? They're not getting on the phone with them. They're not talking to them. They don't care about them. It's just an email blast on Salesforce saying, hey guys, this is what we got. What's up? Check, no check, move on. Next year, that's the relationship some people have. And that may be a complaint. They may want someone to call to and be like, hey, Gary, what's up? What you got for me this month? What's new? What could help me? I just popped my tire on the way to work. Not in a really good mood. I need someone to talk to, but what you got for me this week, this month, this year? I'm really trying to make a difference because I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z. That's something a prospect or a customer may need. They just need someone to call, not as a therapist, but hey man, shit's going south. What can you help me with? That's basically it. Transparency. This is very good for you larger brands out there, because a lot of smaller brands are going to kind of bite the dirt and not want to be very transparent on the products they're making. One, because they don't have the knowledge, and then two, they may not really know their product as well as someone who's been in the industry for, let's say, 10 years. So when we get into transparency, what they're really asking is maybe the safety data behind your product, or, what does your product really do? How safe is your product around my friends, family? Just really in an industry scope. So let's say you sell, insect repellent. What is that insect repellent doing to me? They may want a safety data sheet. They may want, more data or history knowledge on if there's been any legal issues with that product. How safe is that product for me to use day to day? And some brands may not disclose that. They may just say, hey, read the label. We don't care. And some people get away with that. So transparency can also define into, how your sales team is talking to the customers as well. So when I say transparency, it's not always safety, or it's not always, is this product going to kill me? It's more of, if I tell you it's going to ship in 3 days, is it going to ship in 3 days? It could ship in a week, and I'm telling you 3 days because I want your business. Some people do that. Some people are very successful at doing that because they've got a check and then they just send an email and they get away with it, right? So transparency builds that relationship. It's going to have that customer coming back to you, and accidents happen. We are all human. Not everything that we advertise is effectively going to go in and effectively roll out. there's other people in our company. They may be having a bad day. Family member could have died. They could have just broken up with their girlfriend and they fucking messed your order up. Shit happens. So the way you handle that and get in front of it is probably going to be the testimony to your brand. So if your guy in shipping, they're supposed to ship in 3 days, it goes out in 5 days, and you just found out about it, get on the phone with the customer. Hey, Mike back in shipping, he accidentally shipped this in 5 days. It was ready on day 3. It was sitting back there. I'm apologizing about it. It won't happen again. I'm so sorry about that. Here's your tracking number. Let me know if you need anything in the meantime, and leave it at that. Just apologize once and move on. In the event, it comes back to bite you and you've said it will never happen again, you're pretty much over it. You're pretty much done with them. If they happens again, some people will forgive you again, some people won't, but you need to let them know this isn't how we operate standard. I'm going to do my best efforts to make sure it doesn't happen again. Find out how it happened. Find out who was over it or who was responsible for it, and move on. Just for example, like I've worked in both the small side entry level of my brands. I've worked on, the high end C-suite level. You can't be in those smaller positions and say you would never fuck up. You will. There's going to be days you will fuck up, and that's okay. But again, it's a testimony. Are you fucking up every day, or is this just like a once a month type of thing? You really have to grade your employees on that and see, what's going on. You really have to get in the mindset of them, but find out how it happened. Do everything possible to make sure it doesn't happen again. One of those last points for the topic on number 2, what goals are trying to achieve. They may also be looking for knowledge or marketing help. So let's say you sell perfume, right? So you see a brand, your competitor that's always on top. They have a lot of sales every month. You're seeing people go in and out of their store. How are they doing that? Well, they could be doing marketing surveys. They could be asking their customers, because their customer's always right. Hey, what scent are you looking for? What smell are you looking for? What's your favorite smell on your boyfriend? What's your girlfriend's favorite scent? And they may say vanilla. So now they've just launched 3 different vanilla scents and they're up 300%. So when your customers or these prospects come to you and ask, what's your knowledge? What's your marketing help? You really have to dig into them and tell them, what services you have. Do you have knowledgeable people at your company? Do you have marketing in your company that's digging into what's trending in your space? Let's go to, back to tech. What is trending in your space? What are people asking for? Do they want code that's going to go roll into their system that, adjusts employee time clocks? What is your service and what is trending from your other prospects and customers that they're asking you for, and are you rolling it out? Are you helping other brands with that? So really understand, if you're a startup, did you hire knowledgeable people? Did you hire people with knowledge to share that they're willing to share, or do they have the knowledge and, it's not their job to share? It's not, they're getting paid enough to share, and that dials down to other videos and topics of employees and growth and all of that. But a customer is always going to ask for knowledge and marketing help, because when you show that to them on the phone or in the email, then that trust builds even further. The third point is, what criteria do you use to make a purchasing decision? So that prospect's response may be, I trust my sales rep. I listen to my customers. Oh, my wife does the purchasing and runs the company. So tackle some of those, key responses right there. So this goes for both small and large companies in this, because it's very direct. So, what criteria do you use to make your purchasing decision? I trust my sales rep. If my sales rep tells me, he's selling 10 SKUs and tells me this SKU is number 1, I'm going with it. And if it doesn't sell, well, I'm losing trust in that rep. So that's when you tie back to number 2 and talking about knowledge and marketing help and all of that, because the more you know your industry, the more your team knows their industry, they're going to be able to sell and develop that trust criteria with the customer. So if they say, I trust my sales rep, well, good. What do you trust about them? Is their reputation good? Is their benefits good in the sense of everything they've recommended has become a top seller for you? I listen to my customers. The prospects might say, what are their customers saying? What are, the customers giving the feedback when they come into their retail space online? What are they saying in the approach of, I like this product. This is what I don't like about your product. Really take that into advantage and into account, because your product that you're selling could replace that product. It could help make it better. It could alternatively change their lives, because it could be something their customers are asking for and they just don't have access to yet to sell. So really take into account that piece right there, because when they say what criteria do you use to make your purchasing decision, whatever the response is, that's going to be your goal, and you need to write that down. Oh, my wife does the purchasing. Okay, why are you still talking to Bob, the wife's husband? You need to find out. Let's say her name is Nancy, right? So, okay, Bob, I'm so glad to hear that your wife is doing all the purchasing. Do you mind if I ask when she's best free? How long has Nancy been running the company? When did you all start it? Are you her go-to advocate for the company? The moment you know who that purchasing agent is or who runs the show, and you're still talking to, that alternative person, you don't really want to build a relationship with them, and I'll tell you why. You could sell them the world. You could sell them on this idea for 30 minutes about how your product is good, and then Bob gets off the phone, goes and takes a shit, goes and runs some errands, picks his kids up from school, and hits a curb on the way home, and now he's focused on that. He had a bad shit, now he's calling the doctor why he isn't shitting anymore. So there's a whole lot of life stuff that goes on. And when you pump all your energy into someone who is not a decision maker, and you plan around that because you think you're the best salesperson or you're the CEO and they're going to listen to you about your product, life comes before sales pitch and alternatively everything else. So that at that moment, when you found out he's not the purchaser or he runs the company, you need to find out when the best time is to call his wife, what her direct number is, what her email is, and move on. Because you're not talking to her, and you're ultimately not going to get a sale over the phone right then and there 90% of the time. Number 4 on how have you tried to address problems in the past with the prospect. So, your prospect may come and circle back on those lead times, the pricing increases, physical qualities. They may say, yes, I've addressed them, or maybe say no, so you really have to dig into that, because they're not your customer yet, so you can dig into those wounds that they may have from who they're currently purchasing from. So if they've never addressed problems with the lead time in the past, dig into your lead time. Hey, I have a 3-day lead time. Your competitor has a 2-week lead time. I feel like you could have a lot of additional sales, when those customers come to you and say, hey, I need this now, but it seems like you're probably not getting that aspect because you're waiting 2 weeks. And by the time, 2 weeks goes by, they may not be interested. So really dig into that. And then if they say, yes, I've tried to address it, but they tell me, they're the only ones in the industry, dig into that. Now you've lost the transparency side on that current purchasing where they're getting their current stuff from, because now you've dug into it. Oh, well, they weren't very transparent with me because they said they were the only ones who did this. You at number 4 of have you tried to address this problem in the past, in this step of the conversation with the brand, you do not care about, the opposition. You do not care about the competitor. You are digging in and putting lemon and salt on those burns and making it burn as hot as you can for them and as long as you can. Because let's say they just got an order late and the competitor told them it was going to ship in 3 days and it shipped in 2 weeks. now's your time to do it, because they are hurting the most. You're going to hurt them more, and you're going to piss them off. And nothing is better than a pissed off customer who's thinking about transitioning than, lighting that flame for them and letting them sit on it. And at that point, you kind of want to get off the phone because you've brought up a problem that they've had, and really the competitor hasn't addressed it. So in that scope of things, you're really saying, hey, it seems like you have some stuff to sort out with them. Maybe now's not the time that you're wanting to transition to us, but we have a 3-day lead time. If anything ever shipped late for us, we're going to let you know as soon as we can and tell you why and send you tracking. But we're all human, on that side. That's the best we can do on our side. I know 3-day lead time may be, very quick for you. It seems like you're getting it in 2 weeks. I'm not sure really why it's taking them 2 weeks to produce that for you. But, we're here. We have a 3-day lead time. We have great services. My cell phone's in my signature. You've gotten an email from me before. Just give me a call if you ever need me, and drop it at that, because they're going to get off that phone pissed, thinking, oh shit, my competitor's currently lying to me. They told me my stuff's going to ship sooner than it was, and it's been 2 weeks. And now I all of a sudden have found out there's other people in this industry who could sell to me with better lead times, and you just let that ship leave the port. If it sinks, if it sails, who knows? But then that's when you set a reminder, set a task, follow back up with that brand. But from my experience, they're probably going to give you another call within that week, and it's going to be a good one for you. Fifth on this list, to kind of close out, is what does success look like for you when it's coming from the prospect? So what does your prospect deem successful? More sales, more money, more employees. Are you ultimately selling them a product that is going to make them more sales and overall be more successful? And that's something that you want to do. So bring up, some of your customer experiences and really show them definitively, hey, our customers are up 30%. From gauging from our conversation, it sounded like you may be down, but I'm here to help. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I help all the people that we work with. I'm always giving advice. Don't feel like you have to buy something anytime you call me. Just give me a call, and we'll help you get pointed in the right direction and maybe work out some stuff to get over to you and send some samples to see how it works out for you and what your customers think. And you can leave it at that. They may want to make more money or have more employees, so that really turns into growth of the company. So effectively hit it from the angle of, how can I help your brand grow? How can I leave this conversation with this brand and tell them how to grow? And that's effectively tying into your lead time, your pricing, quality of the product. If you ship good product in a feasible time, they're going to grow. Their customers want something that's trending on the market. It may be something new that piques their interest. Get it first, sell it to that customer, and ship it out on a good time, and you're going to keep the customers entertained. Think of TikTok these days. If you see something, pop up in your feed that's trending. I know everybody remembers fidget spinners because those were all the trend for kids and teens a few years ago. If you don't have a fidget spinner to ship in a day, then ultimately they're probably not going to be interested. They're going to scroll on TikTok, say, ooh, that looks fun. That's going to keep me entertained, and want to order it that day. If it's not available, if it's on back order, if it's bound back stock, that's going to ultimately defeat a company. So make sure your product is readily available, it's a quality product, and you're not having manufacturer issues and getting different scopes of different products when you're really ordering the same product every time, or raw material every time, and making it for that brand every time. But overall, that's where I want to close out on understanding the customer needs on this chapter. Next chapter, on chapter 2, we're going to do qualifying leads and, who is involved in the decision making, what is in the budget for the project, what is your timeline, have you used similar products, and what is the priority level of the project for those prospects. So I hope this first chapter and this first piece of Thrive Tactics Sales Consulting has really helped and kind of brought back some of the basics for you and really helped understand kind of the entry level of sales and kind of help close you out and making the right decisions moving forward in your journey, and kind of assessing some of the smaller needs and basic needs that these customers are looking for. So I hope you have a great day. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you back for chapter 2 of qualifying leads. Thank you. Bye-bye.